I will never forget that night, because the whole world seemed to judge me before they knew the truth. When I walked into the party, my son's wedding anniversary, hosted by his wife's mother, every head turned. People whispered. Some even shook their heads. And my daughter-in-law's mother, Linda, stood there with her sharp smile and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Finally decided to join us, huh? Must be nice to keep us all waiting." The room chuckled. My son lowered his eyes, embarrassed. And I stood there, holding back tears. But none of them knew why I was late. None of them knew I had just saved the life of a woman everyone thought was a stranger, but who would change my family's fate forever. Let me take you back a few hours before that party. I had spent the whole morning carefully preparing. I ironed my best blue dress, polished my old but trusty black shoes, and even sprayed on a little perfume I had been saving for a special day. This party was important. You see, Linda, my son's mother-in-law, never liked me. She always thought I was too simple, not good enough for her rich daughter. So tonight, I wanted to prove her wrong. I wanted to show her that a grandmother like me could hold her head high in any room. But life has a funny way of humbling you when you least expect it. On my way, I passed by the quiet stretch of Willow Road. That's when I saw her. An old woman, about my age, maybe older, struggling on the side of the road. She was dressed too fine, too polished, to be there all alone. Her car, a sleek black Mercedes, was stopped, hazard lights blinking. She was holding her chest. I pulled over without thinking. "Ma'am, are you okay?" I asked. Her lips were pale, her hands shaking. I can't breathe," she whispered. Now, I could have looked away. I could have thought, this isn't my problem, I'll be late. But something inside me, the same thing that made me raise my son with nothing but my bare hands and God's grace, told me, if I walk away now, this woman may not see tomorrow. So I helped her into my car. I drove straight to the hospital, praying with every red light. She clutched my hand the whole ride. "Don't leave me," she begged. "I won't," I promised. At the hospital, the doctors rushed her in. I sat in that waiting room, my party dress wrinkling, my makeup smudging, the minutes ticking by. My phone buzzed again and again with messages from my son, my daughter-in-law, and even Linda herself. "Where are you? You're embarrassing us. You always find a way to ruin things." I wanted to scream. If only you knew where I am. After what felt like forever, the doctor came out. "She'll be okay. You brought her in just in time. Another 10 minutes, and..." He didn't finish the sentence. When I went to see her, she looked at me with grateful eyes. Her makeup was smudged, but her diamond ring caught the hospital light. "Why did you help me?" she asked softly. "Because someone once helped me when I had nothing," I said. "It's just what we're supposed to do." She smiled weakly. "Do you know who I am?" I shook my head. "I'm Eleanor Hayes." I froze. The Eleanor Hayes, the millionaire widow who owned half the real estate in town. The woman people whispered about at church, who lived in a mansion on the hill. I had heard of her, but never thought I'd meet her like this. She squeezed my hand. "You've given me a second chance. And I don't forget people who stand by me when I'm weak." But by then, the party had already started. I looked at the time. I was over an hour late. So I rushed to the venue. And the moment I walked in, as I told you before, the whispers began. Linda rolled her eyes. Of course. Always dramatic. Can't even arrive on time to her own son's celebration. The guests laughed politely. My son didn't defend me. My daughter-in-law looked away. And I felt like I was shrinking into the ground. I wanted to explain, to shout, I just saved a life. But the words stuck in my throat. Because what good are excuses when people have already decided you're guilty? So I sat quietly, eating nothing, smiling at no one, waiting for the night to end. Then something happened that silenced the entire room. The doors opened, and in walked a tall woman in an elegant gown, her silver hair shining under the lights. It was Eleanor Hayes. Everyone gasped, because Eleanor never went to social gatherings. She was too wealthy, too private. People whispered, "Why is she here?" She looked around the room, then her eyes found mine. And she said, loudly and clearly, "There you are. I've been looking for you." The crowd turned to me. Linda's smirk disappeared. Eleanor walked straight to my table, took my hand and kissed it. "Ladies and gentlemen," she announced, If it weren't for this woman tonight, I wouldn't be alive. Gasps filled the air. My son's mouth fell open. Linda turned red as a tomato. She stopped to save me on the road when no one else would, Eleanor continued, and I intend to make sure she's honored for it. That was the night everything turned upside down. Eleanor became a dear friend. She invited me to her home, treated me like family, and even made me the head of a charity she funded for widows and single mothers. My son and his wife, suddenly proud to have me around. Linda, she never mocked me again. In fact, she went out of her way to be polite, because now, the very woman she tried to impress respected me more than her. But here's the part no one knows. Months later, Eleanor told me something that still makes my knees weak. She said, "The night you helped me, I had just signed papers leaving my entire estate to charity. But after what you did, I changed my will. I want someone with a heart like yours to oversee everything. I don't trust my lawyers. I trust you." I cried. Not because of the money, but because life had shown me something important. People may laugh at you, judge you, and misunderstand you. But if you do what's right, if you follow your heart, God will lift you higher than their laughter ever could. So yes, I arrived late to my son's mother-in-law's party. And yes, they mocked me for it. But that mistake became the greatest blessing of my life. And every time Linda tries to act superior, I just smile and remember. The woman she wanted to impress calls me her hero. Because sometimes, being late doesn't mean you failed. Sometimes, it means you were right on time for your destiny.